What remains of Windfields? For 6 decades, Windfields Farm bred champion racehorses that made history. Today, little remains of this once famous farm. In 1950, Canadian business tycoon and inventor E.P. Taylor purchased Parkwood Stables from fellow business tycoon Samuel McLaughlin. Taylor purchased additional land and expanded the stables into a 6-square-kilometer racehorse farm. He named it Windfields. Generations of successful racehorses were born and raised at Windfields. The most successful and famous of them all was Northern Dancer, the first Canadian-bred horse to win the Kentucky Derby. Northern Dancer's legacy continues to this day, as up to 97% of all thoroughbred racehorses are his genetic descendants. After E.P. Taylor's death in 1989, operations at Windfields slowly wound down. The land was sold off in 2009. Much of the former farm is now on the property of the University of Ontario Institute of Technology. For years, the remaining farm buildings were left neglected. Promises of historic preservation were not kept. Finally, a new residential and commercial development on the former farmland was begun in 2018. The new Windfields suburban development, built over the former farm, pays tribute to the land's heritage with streets named after Northern Dancer and other famous Windfields horses. Many of the places where those horses were born and raised have been left to decay, out of sight. The few remaining landmark buildings can still be found, if you know where to look. These structures are on the grounds of the Ontario Tech University and are not accessible to the public. They are designated heritage properties under the Ontario Heritage Act. A request was made to access these buildings, but no response was given. No member of the public has had access to the historic site since 2014. Beyond these gates lies the Northern Dancer Cemetery. The famous horse is interred here along with 28 other Windfields racehorses. The university has made good on its agreement to restore and care for this site. It is unfortunate that there is no access to the public. The largest and most striking of the remaining farm structures is the horse arena. Its unique architecture has been hidden away and can only be viewed at a distance from the dead end of a suburban street. Outside of the university's restored area, there are very few remnants left of Windfields on privately owned land. The exception is here, at 2370 Simcoe Street North. At this address sits a lone stone house, surrounded by newer, denser housing. Originally built in the 1850s by Samuel McLaughlin, the stone house is not open to the public but can be viewed easily from the sidewalk. This single structure is one of the few remaining views the public has into the legacy of Windfields Farm.